Hello, Pizza Packs here, and we're back with more Commander Legends Baldur's Gate. This time, we're getting into the Commander decks for the set. So, did buy these for full price as pre-orders. Kind of got bitten by that a little. These did not sell well, so they ended up dropping heavily in price shortly after their release. But it's all good. It's to support local local friendly gaming store, so can't be too upset about that. Alright, so in Commander Legends Dungeons and Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate, which, I mean, realistically, they shouldn't have put Commander Legends on this, and the set would have probably been much more popular. But there are 4 decks. We've got a red-green one, got a blue-black one, a blue-red one, and a white-black one. So we are going to start off with the red-green today. And then over the next few days, we'll have the other ones. So. Yes. And we'll drop that down so we can see it. Switch over to the other camera. Yeah. This one is red-green Exit from Exile. Right. As with the last few months, or I guess the last couple of years, you get a nice little divider. You get 3 tokens on here, 9 tokens in total. We get a themed deck box. It's very nice. I mean, it's made of paper, but. And this one actually does come with the collector booster sample packs, so we will put those to the side to open in their own video. A spacer. That's a thing. This one actually has a specifically themed spin down life counter. It's nice. And there is an insert. With a quick overview of the deck. And commander rules on one side. Then a little bio on the base commander on the other. Along with a ad for Friday Night Magic and Secret Lair. Very nice. All right, let's get into the deck here. There it is. Okay, we'll just go over the cards that are actually for the commander set. I think, well, yeah, that's everything. There's not a separate identifier for the commander set versus the regular set because it's all one set. All right, we have Baldur, Dreadwolf Herald. 1, a red and a green for 3/3 legendary human druid. Whenever you cast a spell from Exile or a land enters the battlefield under your control from Exile, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. 1 untap, discard a card, exile a top card of your library. You may play it this turn. Very nice. Durnan of the Yawning Portal. 3 and a green for 3/3 legendary human warrior. Whenever it attacks, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may exile a creature card from among them, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may cast it. That spell has Undaunted. It costs 1 less for each opponent. Choose a background. Interesting. We have Passionate Archaeologist. We got one of these in the collector's packs. This one is foil, which is interesting. 1 and a red for a legendary enchantment background. Commander creatures you own have, whenever you cast a spell from exile, this creature deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to target opponent. Nice. You have Nature's Lore. Search a library for a forest, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Keep in mind that says forest card, not basic forest, so it gets any type, so it gets triomes. It also puts it into play untapped. Arcane Signet, we all know what that does by now. Same for Command Tower, they're in every friggin' deck. Alright, now we have Demon Bolt, 2 and a red, instant, deal 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker, foretell for a red. So during your turn, you may pay 2 and exile this card from your hand face down, cast it on a later turn for its foretell cost. Alright, then we have Embrace Shieldbreaker. Very nice, this was originally from Throne of Eldraine. 1 and a red, 2/1 human knight. It's just a vanilla creature on its own, but for a single red as a sorcery, you have the adventure side of it, which is destroy target artifact. Very nice. Light up the stage, 2 and a red, sorcery, spectacle for a red. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Volcanic Torrent, 4 and a red, sorcery with Cascade. Deals X damage to each creature and planeswalker your opponent's control, where X is the number of spells you've cast this turn. Very nice. Good for spellslinger decks. Beanstalk Giant, 6 and a green for a giant with power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control, and then it has an adventure side for 2 and a green as a sorcery. Search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Keep in mind that is not tapped. Beast Within, 2 and a green, instant. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Cultivate, 2 and a green, sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands, reveal them, put 1 in the battlefield tapped and the other in your hand, then shuffle. Explore, 1 and a green, sorcery. You can play an additional land this turn, draw a card. Kadama's Reach, the exact same thing as Cultivate, except it's also an arcane sorcery, so you can splice into arcane. Natural Reclamation, 4 and a green, instant, Cascade, destroy target artifact or enchantment. That is nice. It's a 5 mana Cascade spell, is the big thing there. Steve! Sakura Tribe Elder, popularly known as Steve, because Steve. 1 and a green for a 1/1 Snake Shaman. You can sack it to search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. It's rampant growth on legs, which is really nice. And it's instant speed for the sack. Search for Tomorrow, a Valakut Pinnacle why can't I remember the full name of Valakut? A staple in Valakut decks and Scapeshift decks from forever, but 2 and a green, sorcery, search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. Keep in mind that's untapped. Then it has to spend 2 for a green. Terramorph, 3 and a green, search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Rebound. Very nice. 3 visits. This card used to be so expensive. This is an alternate version of Nature's Lore? Yeah, Nature's Lore. Yeah, Nature's Lore. But it was the version printed in Portal 3 Kingdoms, so for the longest time this was a crazy expensive card. Search for a forest, put it into play, then shuffle. Go Bloodbraid Elf, 2 red and green for a 3/2 Elf Berserker with haste, and Cascade. Alright, we've got Grumgully the Generous, 1 red and a green for a 3/3 legendary Goblin Shaman, so this can actually be an alternate commander for the deck. I don't know why you would do that, though. Each other non-human creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Soul Ring, we know what that does. Ooh, Ash Barrens. I didn't realize Ash Barrens was in here. This is a Pauper All-Star. Taps for a colorless and then has basic land cycling for 1. Blighted Woodland, taps for colorless, 3 and a green, sack it, search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them on a battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Alright. Rural Turf, it's the red-green Karu. Highland Forest, it's the red-green Snow Duel. So it enters the battlefield tapped, it is a snowland. I like the effect that they did on it. Myriad Landscape, enters the battlefield tapped, taps for colorless, and then 2 and sack it. Search your library for up to 2 basic lands that share a type, and put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. I just recently discovered that Waste is not a land type, by the way, so that does not work with Waste. It gets 1 Waste. Temple of the False God, taps for 2, only if you control 5 or more lands. You have Mountain. Delayed Blast Fireball, 1 red instant. Deals 2 damage to each opponent and each creature they control. If the spell is cast from exile, it deals 5 damage to each opponent and each creature they control instead. And it has Foretell for 4 red. So it's one of the few things that costs more when being foretold. The Feshni, or Nelfeshni, 5 and a red for a Beast Demon, 4/6 flyer. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. If it's a permanent spell, the copy gains haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this permanent. Green Slime, 2 and a green, 2/2 for a Ooze with Flash. When it enters the battlefield, counter target activated or triggered ability from an artifact or enchantment source. If a permanent's ability is countered this way, destroy that permanent. Whoa, that's cool. And it has Foretell for a green. I wonder why this doesn't see more play. Journey to the Lost City, 3 and a green enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 4 cards of your library, then roll a d20. 1 to 9, you may put a land card from among those cards onto the battlefield. 10 through 19, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token, then put a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature card among those cards. 20, put all permanent cards exiled this way put all permanent cards exiled with Journey to the Lost City onto the battlefield, then sacrifice it. That's pretty cool. Tlankali Hunter, 5 green for a 7/7 Scorpion Scout with Trample. Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a creature spell you cast from exile. Wow. That's crazy. Retrieve Prey, 1 and a green, sorcery. Exile target creature card from your graveyard until your next turn. You may cast that card. Huh. That's neat. Until the end of your next turn. Venture Forth, 3 and a green, sorcery. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a land card. Put that card on the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Exile Venture Forth with 3 time counters on it. That's cool. And then it has to spend 3 for 1 and a green. Severex Tome, 4 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you take the initiative. Tap for a colorless if you have the initiative. Add double colorless instead. 3 and tap. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Activate only if you've completed a dungeon. That's cool. Aurora Phoenix, 4 red for 5/3 Phoenix with flying and Cascade. Whenever you cast a spell with Cascade, return Aurora Phoenix from your graveyard to your hand. Nice. Bone Crusher Giant, very nice. 2 and a red for 4/3 Giant. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell, it deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. That includes you, by the way. And then it has Stomp for 1 and a red, instant, adventure. Damage can't be prevented this turn, which is really nice with the one, and if the One Ring is giving someone protection. Stomp deals 2 damage to any target. Direfleet Daredevil, 1 and a red for 2/1 human pirate with first strike. When it enters the battlefield, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast it this turn, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color, or any type to cast that spell. If that spell would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Dream Pillager, 5 red for a 4/4 dragon with flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile that many cards from the top of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those exiled cards. Very cool. Vitali, Primal Storm, 4 red for a 6/6 legendary Elder Dinosaur. When it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library, then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana costs. Nice. Greater Gargadon. Nice. I don't think this card's very valuable anymore, but this was always a lot of fun back in Time Spiral. 9 and a red for 9/7 beast with suspend 10 for a red. Sacrifice an artifact, creature, or land. Remove a time counter from Greater Gargadon. Activate only if Greater Gargadon is suspended. Let's see. Ignite the Future. 3 and a red, sorcery. Exile the top 3 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, you may play cards this way without paying their mana costs, and then flashback 7 and a red. Is it Kemster? 2 and a red for a 1/3 Goblin Wizard with haste. Red and tap, exile target instant sorcery from your graveyard. 1 a red, tap and sacrifice it. Cast any number of cards exiled with Is it Kemster without paying their mana costs. That's cool. Jeska's Will. This one sees play in Storm, especially in Legacy. Actually, I think it's exclusively in Legacy. I'm not sure that this is actually even legal in Modern. But it's also part of Ruby Storm. 2 and a red, sorcery. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you may choose both. Add red for each card in target opponent's hand. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. This is a huge ritual most of the time. Lelia, the Blade Reforged. Very nice. 2 and a red for a 2/2 legendary Spirit Warrior with haste. Whenever it attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Whenever one or more cards are put into exile from your library and or your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Lelia. Alright, Mizium Mortars, 1 and a red, sorcery, 4 damage to target creature you don't control, and then overload for 3, and red. Outpost Siege, 3 and a red enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, choose cons or dragons. Cons, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card. And dragons, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, Outpost Siege deals 1 damage to any target. We have Stolen Strategy, 4 and a red, enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those exiled cards, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. Very nice. We have Tectonic Giant, 2 red, for a 3/4 Elemental Giant. Okay. Whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, choose one. Deals 3 damage to each opponent, or exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them. Until end of your next turn, you may play that card. Urabrask, the Hidden, 3 red for a 4/4 legendary Phyrexian Praetor. Creatures you control have haste. Creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Very nice. Warstorm Surge, 5 and a red for an enchantment. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Very nice. Wild Magic Sorcerer, 3 and a red for a 4/3 Orc Shaman. The first spell you cast from exile each turn has Cascade. Very nice. Arasta of the Endless Web, 2 green for a 3/5 legendary enchantment creature spider. With Reach, whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with Reach. Battle Mammoth, 3 green for a 6/5 elephant with trample. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card, and that has Foretell for 2 green. Very nice. End Raise Forerunners. 5 green for a 7/7 boar with Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. Azuri's Predation. Or Predation, rather. 5 green. Sorcery. For each creature your opponents control, create a 4/4 green Phyrexian Beast creature token. Each of those tokens fights a different one of those creatures. This, if your opponents have like a go wide token strategy, is hilarious. Hornet Queen, 4 green, or a 2/2 insect with flying and death touch. When it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. So, nice way to put 5 bodies onto the battlefield for 7 mana. Lovestruck Beast, 2 and a green for a 5/5. It can't, Beast Noble, sorry. It can't attack unless you control a 1/1 creature, and then it has Heart's Desire as its adventure. As a sorcery, create a 1/1 white human creature token. Mana Gorger Hydra, 2 and a green for a 1/1 Hydra with Trample. Whenever a player casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Mana Gorger Hydra. You can get very big very quickly. Primeval Bounty, 5 and a green enchantment. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life. So, funny thing with this and Fast Bond, and a way of sacking a land, you can gain, and like Crucible of Worlds. So, a full green, granted it's a 3-4 card combo, you can gain infinite life. It's a fun little idea to throw in. I don't know, is Fast Bond even legal in Commander? I have no idea. Return of the Wild Speaker, 4 and a green, instant. Choose one, draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control, or non-human creatures you control get +3/+3 until end of turn. Sandworm Convergence. This was one of my favorite ways of winning with control decks ramp control decks back in Amonkhet. But 6 green enchantment. Creatures with flying can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a 5/5 green worm creature token. Sweet Gum Recluse, 4 green, for a 0/3 spider with Flash, Cascade, and Reach. When it enters the battlefield, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it, or 3 +1/+1 counters on each of any number of target creatures that entered the battlefield this turn. Huh. That's interesting. Vivian, Champion of the Wilds, 2 and a green. For a Planeswalker, Vivian, you may cast creature spells as though they had Flash. She enters with 4 loyalty. +1 until your next turn. Up to 1 target creature gains Vigilance and Reach. -2, look at the top 3 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as it remains exiled, you may look at that card and you may cast it if it's a creature spell. Alright, Escape to the Wilds, 3 red and a green, sorcery, exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way until the end of your next turn. You may play an additional land this turn. Xenagos the Reveler, 2 red and a green, legendary planeswalker Xenagos. +1, add X mana in any combination of red and or green, where X is the number of creatures you control. 0, create a 2/2 red and green satyr creature token with haste. -6, exile the top 7 cards of your library. You may put any number of creatures and or land cards from among them onto the battlefield. And it enters with 3 loyalty. Chaos Wand. This is a fun one. 3 mana artifact. 4 and tap. Target opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, then put the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of that library in a random order. Castle Embereth, one of the castles from Front of Eldraine, enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. Tap for a red. 1 red, tap. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Cinderglade, it's the Buddy duel. Game Trail, it's the Reveal duel for red-green. Kessig Wolf Run. Oh, this is a fun one. Tap for a colorless. X, red and green tap. Target creature gets +X/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. When this was in standard, this was absolutely broken, because we also had Primeval Titan in standard at the same time. Mossfire Valley filters for colorless into a red and a green. Mosswort Bridge is the green hideaway land. So Hideaway 4 enters the battlefield tap for a green. Green and tap, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have total power 10 or greater. Raging Ravine, it's the Zendikar red-green duel, manland duel rather. Enters the battlefield taps for a red or green, 2 red and a green. Until end of turn, it becomes a 3/3 red and green elemental creature token, or not creature token, elemental creature with whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. It's still a land. Spinerock Knoll is the red hideaway land. Hideaway 4 enters the battlefield tapped. Tap for a red and tap. You may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if an opponent was dealt 7 or more damage this turn. Temple of Abandon, it's the red-green temple. Enters the battlefield tapped. When it comes in, scry 1. That's for red and green. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mountains. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 forests. We have the extra thing for Baldur, the thick stand-in card. We have some tokens. We have the initiative with Undercity on the back. 1, 2, 3 wolf tokens that are also insects for Hornet Queen. We have 2 spiders. One's an insect for Hornet Queen, the other's human for Lovestruck Beast. We have 2 satyrs that are 3/3 beasts on the back, so for Beast Within. And then we have 2 Phyrexian beasts that are worms on the back. Nice. Then we have our turn reminder card. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for joining me on this adventure to Baldur's Gate and through the Forgotten Realms, if I remember correct. Whoa, crap. Sorry, I had some stuff almost fall over. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's the best way to help the channel in a non-monetary fashion. If you'd also like to help out the channel in a monetary fashion, we do have a Patreon that is linked in our About page. So, yeah, check that out if you're feeling generous and want to help support the channel and what we do here. It goes a long way to helping us bring you more content. But anyway, until next time, stay awesome, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.